Hey, Xenogears Facebook group. It's our favorite topic once again. Xenogears remake remaster discussion. Anyone in the group for longer than a week has seen the discourse. Xenogears should get a remake. No, not a remake, a remaster. No, don't touch it. Square mess it up. There's enough posts about the remake topic. There's even a backlash whenever any new unsuspecting member posts about it. There's even a fan group on just this topic alone. Well, here's some reasons why I feel Xenogears will never receive a remake, and likely not a remaster. Number 1, money. Number 2, subject matter. So let's talk about money. Any game, even if it's a small one, is likely to cost a damn good bit of cash for any professional studio or investor to put up. I did a little informal experiment with the members of this group where I put up a poll with the following scenario. You wake up, you've got 3 million USD. You've also already got the rights to Xenogears. What do? Now, to make it a little more realistic and change up the topic, I also added that it wasn't enough for a full remake, especially anything like Final Fantasy VII Remake. So, option A, a minor graphical update, rebalance of combat, make some quality of life improvements. Think of a small graphics update, an incremental improvement on the game. Option B, get help from the original staff and add content to disc 2. Now, I was thinking something like they've already agreed to help, they've got the old game engine and source code, so they can go in and basically easily complete discs 2. And you've already negotiated a rate, the 3 million will go towards that, that'll be enough to cover it, of course. And we've also got option C, which the overwhelming majority of people picked. Pocket the money and move on. I added this option as sort of a control, just for people to, weigh in their minds how much it would mean to them personally to have to risk, money they could potentially have, even if it was just an unexpected windfall. And a whole bunch of people were like, hey, give me the money. I added a comment shortly after the initial post saying you could of course sell your game and collect the profits from that, but that really didn't make any difference. People overwhelmingly wanted to keep the 3 million, vice risk it on making a game, especially one that might not sell. And that right there is the hard fact. If in a fan group among members who are passionate about the game, some people who've only played the game once in 20 years but still remember it to this day, if that same group can vote 3-1 that, nah, I'm not investing my 3 free mil, you can be damn sure there's no corporation that would ever make that investment either. Now, I'm not saying anyone who opted to keep the money is wrong. I mean, 3 million can do a lot for people and their families, but believe me, as much financial thinking goes into an individual person's thought process, a corporation, business, or company has 100 times more reason to think in terms of financial versus personal or emotional desire. Some people might think, but companies have so much money, so it'd be nothing to them. Gotta remember, corporation is all about maximum profits. Not some of the profits, and let's try a few things, do some art. No, they're about maximum profits. So as in, they don't waste any money. They try and save everywhere they can. So as an example, a company like, let's say, Activision, which makes $2 billion, will try and save $2 million by laying off 20 people, just so they can report higher earnings for a quarter. That's how businesses operate, especially businesses in the video game world. So the second thing that's really a problem, subject matter. Xenogears goes a lot of places with its narrative themes and plot. A lot of those places are pretty dark, pretty fast, and especially as you play through the game. You've got drug use, religious themes, psychological themes, human experimentation, existential crisis. They all tie in together to form one of the most impactful, unique, and awesome stories ever told in any single medium. These things make a game a masterpiece, but it's exactly these qualities that make the game a huge risk for any publishers. Let me share a scenario that I thought of in my mind. I personally get the feeling that if this game had exploded in popularity in the West like Final Fantasy VII did, we'd have a huge controversy in that alternate history, where the 90s average adult American would have major problems with a game that emphasized Church as a depraved, immoral, run by a hidden city in the sky who's feeding people to other people, and that the final boss is an attempt to kill a pseudo-god of that world. I mean, try floating that past politicians and other idiots that still blame video games for violence today. For these reasons and more, it's hard for me to see anyone ever doing a remaster that didn't involve cutting or changing some elements of the story. Which, that's another barrier to a remaster because, as has been noted by almost everyone, Disc 2 feels incomplete. The expectations on a game remaster would be challenging for any developer. There'd be an understandable backlash if the remaster came out and Disc 2 was left in the exact same state that it is right now. Either writing around the long cutscenes of Disc 2 or making new content to make up for what's not there currently would be an immense undertaking. But one the devs would have to tackle if they wanted to release a game that would be perceived as complete, both for existing fans and for new potential fans. In the end, the game has an underlying problem that goes to the root of everything. It's risk. The game is risky, it's niche, hence there's very little mainstream appeal. Also, the current market already has a lot of Xeno games, so the mystique isn't really there. There's Xenosaga and Xenoblade Chronicles. And Xenosaga, despite having 3 games to capture all of the original devs' ideas, was considered a commercial failure by Namco. And some content still had to be cut. Monolith Soft seemed to have got a good groove going with Xenoblade Chronicles, which has a significantly different tone and pace than Xenogears. Thematically, the series is much more limited in scope, and the devs are in a different place creatively than they were in the mid-90s. Xenogears is my favorite game of all time. I would love it if there was a little bit more, in the form of a remake, remaster, DLC, novel, book, anything. But as they say, don't be sad it's over, just be glad it happened. Hope you guys enjoyed that. I've kind of considered doing some short videos for the group, especially on specific characters like these on screen. Also, I've got an alternate take on this video, one which I think a Xenogears fan game could be made. Anyway guys, hope you enjoyed that. See ya.